So welcome. I'm Bridget Stesney. I'm the Division Chief for Park Planning and Development here at the Department of Parks and Recreation. Welcome today. We have been partnering with the PALS program for about 5 years and have partnered on many, many projects. We've worked on dog parks, bike planning projects, how to improve senior registration for our events, electrifying our maintenance teams, and so much more. The challenges that we have worked on were really county-wide, and our partnership has helped inspire our staff, bring new ideas and energy, and really given the students an opportunity to learn how to serve our community. So we are so thankful for our partnership. We are not the only partner here today. We are here with our planning department partners, the Maryland Department of Natural Resources, and many more. And these partnerships are really what makes the PALS program work. So on behalf of all of us, I hope you take time, meet the students, talk to them about their projects, meet the faculty here today. I know everybody's excited to share what they've been working on. So with that, I'm going to introduce Dean Dawn Jordan of the School of Architecture, Planning, and Preservation. Thanks so much.
Hi everybody, good to see you. We're playing phone swap up here. I'm Dawn Jordan, and it is my pleasure to be in my second year as Dean of the School of Architecture, Planning, and Preservation. We have a plus when we use our acronym for real estate development. So we're really a full service shop that thinks about the built environment. But the work we do goes beyond our walls across the campus, and you'll meet a lot of our campus partners through the PALS program. And I'm really always proud to talk about this partnership because some of my friends in life are also our friends and partners on campus, and that is a real pleasure. We have some honored guests with us today that are huge PALS supporters, and I'd like to recognize Molly Byron. Molly, are you in the room? Hi, Molly is in the back. Molly is the director of the Maryland Intergovernmental Affairs Office. She previously was with Prince George's County government and is a Prince George's County resident, so truly committed to this space. Next is Malcolm Augustine. Malcolm, are you with us? He's not here, but we're going to recognize him. He is a state senator for District 47 and currently the president pro tem of the Senate, and a big supporter of ours, really helping make our dreams happen, especially in this last legislative cycle. Good news to share. And then last but not least, Eric Olson. Eric, are you with us? So we recognize Eric in his absence, who is a longtime supporter of our university and sitting on the County Council for District 3. It is wonderful to have folks support the university, our faculty, and our students in the way that they do. I think it's because we have a collective vision and we care about places and the people and the environment in which they inhabit. I know that's a case because I got to spend this morning with my boss, the provost, Jennifer King Rice, who welcomed many dignitaries to campus, including the current EPA administrator and Governor Wes Moore, to make a big announcement about climate change, and I hope she'll tell you a little bit more about that. The provost led the new strategic plan initiative last year, and one of the special things, many special things about the plan is it truly embraces this commitment to engagement with communities. She is a longtime champion of PALS and all of the initiatives on campus. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Jennifer Rice.
Thank you all so much. It's my absolute pleasure to be here with you all this afternoon and to welcome you all to the PALS 2023 Showcase. You know, raise your hand if you know what PALS stands for. Let's start with that, a little quiz. Who can tell me what does PALS stand for?
Partners in Action Learning Service.
Very close. The Partnership for Action Learning and Sustainability. And every word there really matters. I'm going to focus a little bit on partnership in my comments, but I think it's important to recognize that this PALS program started with one simple project in Salisbury, Maryland back in 2014. And it has grown into this. A widespread network of faculty, students, staff, community leaders, community members coming together, harnessing the creativity, ingenuity, innovation to really collaboratively help Maryland communities become more environmentally, economically, and socially sustainable. And as Don Jordan said, I had the privilege of welcoming our governor and the administrator of the EPA to campus this morning. The big announcement was one that was so close to my heart. We had lots of students there, over 100 students in attendance, and the announcement was that the EPA Administrator Regan is committed to establishing a student advisory council to help shape where the EPA is going. The people who are most passionate, really in some ways, about environmental change, the people who have the most stake because they're the youngest people in our community, need to have a voice in what happens. And so having that announcement happen on our campus at this moment in time when we are so committed to partnerships and community impact in meaningful ways just meant the world to me. And so it really was a privilege to be there. And I'm seeing that same kind of commitment as I walk around this room and learn about some of the projects that you have all been engaged in. I've seen a number of them. I hope to see a few more on my way out. But, you know, a stormwater manual for small businesses so that they can understand what it is that they can do in their space to make the world better, to help with sustainability and environmental health. You know, the assessment of recreational field conditions to create safe spaces for our children and young people and adults to play outside. This is important, and it's important for communities to develop the capacity to do this themselves as well. Now, as most of you hopefully know, and some of you may not, but last year President Pines and I announced our new campus strategic plan. It's not that new anymore. We're a year into implementation, but it's called Fearlessly Forward, in pursuit of excellence and impact for the public good. And it's that second, everybody talks about Fearlessly Forward. It's the second line that I like the most. In pursuit of excellence and impact for the public good. This is a strategic plan that is transformational, or should be for us. It is recognizing that we are a public, flagship, research-one institution. And as that, I forgot to say land grant. Land grant is very important. As that, we should be focused on having a meaningful impact on the public good. And that is really what we're all about. Tackling the grand challenges of our time through collaborative work with our communities, through reimagining learning to be more engaged and innovative, and through partnerships and investments in our people and our community. And that's really what we have been about this year, launching our first round of initiatives. Now, PALS, I need to say, was doing this long before that strategic plan rolled out. And that's why I started with the history of PALS. So PALS really is a model, and it's a model that we're trying to emulate across campus. Just recently, I announced the creation of a new University of Maryland Center for Community Engagement. This center will ensure that this kind of community engaged work is woven into the very fabric, values, and identity of our university, up and down, side to side, that this is important work, this kind of impactful work. It was in response to voices from faculty, staff, and students, but also voices of community members who are speaking in partnership with those faculty, staff, students, saying, we need this. We need more infrastructure to help support this kind of community engagement, both to coordinate that work, but also to cultivate new opportunities for community engaged scholarship and instructional programs that are aligned with our mission, again, as a public, land grant, research intensive university committed to enhancing the public good in all that we do. Functionally, the center is going to provide lots of services that help support a strategic vision and leadership for University of Maryland community engagement, to help support the capacity of our faculty, staff, and students to do this kind of work in ways that reflect best practices, to develop and support partnerships locally and globally, and to support some of the logistics and collaboration across units and divisions and across the community. We're going to be doing a national search for a new associate provost to lead this work. That will be announced in the coming months. But my hope is that this example reflects our university's deep commitment to partnering with our community to make a difference, to make a meaningful difference through the work that we do. Speaking of partners, I would like to thank some of the key partners who are here today, who partnered with PALS this academic year: Prince George's County Department of Parks and Recreation and the Planning Department, the Maryland Department of Natural Resources, the University of Maryland Department of Transportation, the Anacostia Trails Heritage Area. Those of you who are from those agencies and organizations, can I see your hands? Thank you. Let's hear it for them. Your partnership and your commitment of valuable time and energy contributed to the success of these projects, and also contributed in meaningful ways to the education of our students to understand how to do this kind of collaborative work. I also want to recognize the university faculty, staff, and students for all the work that they have invested in teaching, learning, collaboration that has happened over the course of this semester. Working together, you all have made a difference for people and communities in Maryland. You are ambassadors for this university, and I am very grateful for your work. So thank you all very much. Additionally, I want to thank Kimberly Fisher, the PALS Program Director at the National Center for Smart Growth. Kimberly. Thank you for leading this work, for planning this really important event. These recognition events take a lot of work and are so important. So thank you, Kimberly, for taking the extra steps to make this event and all of the work that has happened so special and impactful. And where did Dawn go? Dean Jordan? She had to leave, but I do need to give a shout out to Dean Jordan for her tireless support of the PALS program. She really is a champion for the school and its many collaborative relationships across campus and across the state. And in closing, I just want to say that the PALS projects that I referenced and that I'm seeing more broadly around this room are an illustration of the wide-ranging challenges facing our world. But maybe more importantly, they're an illustration of the steps that we can take together to overcome those challenges, and the partnerships that are so critical in doing that, to bridge research and practice. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you'll take time to talk with the student teams and faculty who are posted across the room to learn more about the range of work and projects that they did over the course of the semester. I also encourage you all to begin thinking about the next round of projects that we might take on collaboratively in the coming years. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your work, and thank you for your investment in making a difference.
Finally, we want to take just a couple minutes of your time to make some really special awards. This year, for the second time, the PALS program is making awards to outstanding student teams, graduate assistants, faculty and partner staff. These awards are an important reminder that the PALS program is really, really a team effort. I can say that as the person who's trying to wrangle it all. The partners bring us amazing, amazing programs and projects to work on. I frequently tell the students that we are so fortunate to be in a community like Prince George's County and Maryland that have staff that are really looking out to the future. The faculty do the hard work of adding real world into their courses, which sometimes is not easy, as they would all tell you, I'm sure, because that means bringing in messy data, cultural sensitivity issues, and professional product development into their courses. And then the students will all tell you that they had to go quite an extra mile to get all of this work done. And we so much appreciate what they have done. I think they would also tell you that they learned quite a bit in the process of doing this work. And then, of course, graduate students support PALS in a lot of different ways. So the first thing that I'd like to do is to recognize the Faculty Member Award. And our faculty member that we're honoring this year is Byung-Suk Kwan. So Byung-Suk has done so many projects with PALS, and I have to say, way beyond PALS. She's done work in underserved communities in Baltimore. She's done work with a really important historic African American church in Montgomery County, and the list goes on. When the PALS staff got together to try and think of this award,
Byung-suk was like right so far ahead of everybody else because she just is so creative. Her students do such an amazing job. She's very organized. We love organized. And she's just been a joy to work with over the last couple of years. So please join me in recognizing Byung-suk Kwan. The graduate assistant that we're recognizing is not able to attend this event. Her name is Hannah Cameron. She has taught several PALS courses and also worked with Dr. Razabal in the fall of this year in the Lakeland community. And she did an amazing job working with the students and supporting them in their efforts. So we're very happy to pass this on to her after she gets back in town. The next thing I wanted to do is to introduce Sean, and my brain is such a fog, I don't know your last name. Beaumont. So Sean is going to make the student presentation. I don't know, Jeff, if you were going to say some words too, but.
I'm happy to if Sean's got a few words.
Yeah.
Sure. So, hey everybody, I'm Sean Beaumont. I'm a Recreation Maintenance Coordinator here in Prince George's County. I work in the Northern Region Parks Division, so we tackle all of the athletic field, grounds, and trails maintenance north of Central Avenue, and we also maintain a team that does countywide athletic field renovations. This year, the PAL Student Team Award awardee did a lot of work in a very short period of time, covered a lot of ground, and got a lot of really good things done for us. So without further ado, I'd like to present the Student Team Award to Brandon Carberry. Take a picture first, and I'll do some moments.
Awesome.
And Jeff, you're welcome to say
Okay.
a few
Yeah.
words if you'd like.
So I got a couple things I can go ahead and,
Oh,
and
go
go
ahead.
through.
Yeah, go ahead, Sean. Yeah.
We've been provided with a bio on Brandon, so everybody in the room could get to learn a little bit more about Brandon.
You have to hold it really close to
So
you.
hold it really close. Any
Yeah.
better? Okay. So Brandon is currently working as an assistant superintendent at Manor Country Club and has previously worked at Columbia Country Club. In addition to that, Brandon is an entrepreneur, owning his own landscape business, and Brandon has contributed greatly to the turf grass management program with the IAA. With the IAA, he's participated on 3 teams that have earned top 10 finishes in the National Turf Bowl competition. Later this year, Brandon will be graduating from the Institute of Applied Agriculture in Ornamental Horticulture. And for just a brief word on the project that Brandon conducted for us, he went around to, how many was it?
30.
30 different athletic fields and performed a number of different tests for those fields to let us know what our impact attenuation, surface hardness, and surface moisture levels were on those fields. So we were able to figure out how we place them in a category of, I don't think it was good, bad, and ugly. How did we put it?
It was best, fair, and needs attention.
So he put it politely for us, which was good. But that really helped out to develop a baseline for us, so we knew what's the condition of our fields, not just from looking at them when you come to the park, but actually from a scientific standpoint of gathering data and using the benchmarks to see this is where we are and this is what we need to do to get better. So I think there's a lot of ways that this benefits us, and I just want to thank you.
Well, thank you.
With that, I just wanted to thank Kim and her staff with continuing to find projects for us in the turf grass management group. We're a pretty small group. We're in the low teens student number wise, and for this particular project, really want to congratulate Brandon for his achievements. Ideally, we've got a few students working on this. It didn't quite pan out that way, so this is truly an independent study project for Brandon. So again, thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Kim, and the PALS program.
So our final award is for partners, and this last year and a half, I guess it's been, we've had an amazing partnership with the Wilmers Park team of Prince George's County Parks and Recreation Department, and so they're who we would love to honor with the award. The Wilmers Park team was a joy to work with. They patiently took 3 groups of students on field visits, listened to many presentations, guided students to help produce the amazing work that you'll be able to see today. And I actually can say that I saw Don protect one student group from a snake. So, hey, you got to give the guy an award, right? Each site visit to Wilmers Park was really an adventure, and the students all learned something new almost on every visit. So it was really wonderful. The Wilmers Park project, which you'll learn more about when you go to the boards, the story includes segregation, music of many kinds, both national and local history, the Negro League baseball teams, and an amazing man who built a place that really became a community treasure. The Wilmers Park team was able to convey all of this to the student groups so that these important features could be included in the projects that and products that they produce. In addition to all of the support provided by Wilmers Park team, they also supported the creativity and kind of branching out of PALS. Many of you probably see this white shelter in the back. I have always wanted to include art in PALS projects, and they gave us an opportunity to do that with Wilmers Park, and it was amazing. And you'll see it all there. Byung-Suk's students imagined many amazing uses for the parks. Ronit's students created videos and specific designs for the future park. And Brandon's students used airbrush painting to celebrate the history of the park, its current conditions, and possible futures. So finally, will Sonia Ewing, Don Herring, and Dominique join us up front? I should mention that and with that, we're done. I would really invite you to walk around, talk to all of the students. They have some very interesting stories to tell about the projects that they have done over the year. Please don't miss the shelter. Some amazing airbrush art that the students produced that we are so excited about. And there apparently are blueberry cookies back by the Purple Line corridor map. So are there still cookies? Extra treats.
Take some, they're good.
And please eat, have seconds on the food, make yourselves at home. And as the provost said, let's start thinking about projects that we can do next year. We have a lot of, as you can see, energetic students and committed faculty, and we'd love to work with you. So, thanks very much.
Hi, my name's Amanda. I'm a second-year master's student in ethnomusicology here at UMD. And the PALS project that I got to work on this semester is called The Sounds of Prince George's County, Part 2. This is a continuation of a previous PALS project that was done by my colleague, Julia Coleman, who isn't in the area anymore. So she kind of helped me out and introduced me to PALS and introduced me to everybody working at the planning department. So what this project really focuses on and aims to do is to kind of connect history and the present musically. So as you can see, it's the Sounds of Prince George's County. It's about music and specifically about music venues, historical music venues that used to be very prominent in Prince George's County, particularly the Blue Line corridor of Prince George's County, especially many venues around Marlborough Pike. So along with that, this project really tries to dig a bit deeper into the history of these venues and then use that information to kind of interact more with social media. So you can see here I created a Spotify playlist based off of the artists and the different songs that you might have heard if you were to be in attendance at one of these venues. A lot of this research involved doing archival research in the archival collections at Special Collections in Performing Arts in the Michelle Smith Performing Arts Library. And then that kind of historical research allowed me to learn a bit more about these venues. Many of these venues were surprisingly country western in genre. Country western was a big one. There was also quite a bit of R&B, a bit of jazz, and of course, overwhelmingly rock and roll. The time period that we were looking at was mostly kind of early, late 30s, and some of the venues lasted all the way through the 90s. Location-wise, like I said, it was mostly Blue Line Corridor. Also a bit looking at College Park, Riverdale Park a little bit as well. Overall, we're trying to kind of connect these venues with the present and possibly the future. Having this playlist is a great way for people to kind of look at the kind of artists that we're performing there, and we're also able to kind of have that history as a way to really understand the music that we listen to currently and the music that was important to the region.
Hi, my name's Jen Solon, and this is Christian, and we did our project on biking in the port towns as part of our public policy capstone project.
Our project was focused around the idea of improving the barriers to biking in the port towns. We actually went to the towns of Bladensburg, Colmar Manor, Cottage City, and Edmonston and spoke to residents face to face to hear from them what their thoughts were on biking in the port towns.
Yeah, so in order to get a complete overview of the issue and also do some research ourselves, we started with a literature review. And in this literature review, we found that other places such as Portland, Oregon, and Washington, D.C. has faced issues with black residents feeling that bike lanes were only being installed as a way to attract white residents, and that they only saw it coming as more luxury apartments were coming in, and that community input wasn't being valued. And so we wanted to understand if that same thing was happening in the port towns. And so we conducted a focus group with residents in the port towns and had a discussion about what they perceive as barriers to biking and what could be improved.
And some of our results included that one of the biggest barriers was safety to biking, where we realized that there was not enough infrastructure to help residents feel safe. In addition, affordability was another reason why residents felt like they were not biking enough. Ultimately, gentrification, we found out that it was not a major factor, given that a lot of the residents were long time and that they actually found great joy and pleasure in biking itself. In addition, working together was a wonderful thing because we all shared passions for green infrastructure. And so Jen is going to talk about our conclusions.
Yeah, so using feedback from our focus group and our literature review, we concluded that we made some recommendations for the Parks and Planning Commission to implement, including requiring mixed-use developments, because these type of developments tend to incorporate bike infrastructure in a safer way with more designated bike lanes, and that also keeps communities more connected so you don't have to travel as far and rely on cars. We also recommended expanding Capital Bike Share. Right now, the Capital Bike Share program is not available in the port towns, and residents expressed that a program like that could allow them to navigate more hills because the bikes are electric, and there's also a program where they can get a $5 annual membership, and so that can reduce the cost to biking and the cost of bikes themselves. And we also recommended that Prince George's County Schools implement bike safety courses to teach children about the best practices for biking and ways to do it safely and how they can incorporate it better into their own lives. And our final recommendation was for employers to require employers to have green travel plans. So this would mean that any large business over 50 employees would have to have spaces for bikes to be stored while employees are working, and giving space for employees to change and kind of overcome some of the hurdles that come with commuting to work by bike.
And we would like to thank everybody at the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission for their outstanding support, as well as our professor and all of our teammates. Thank you.
All right. Well, hi, my name's Christian Alvarado. This is Donna Ferreira, and this is Awa Cherigali. And we're part of the Creative Placemaking Studio at the University of Maryland, led by Ronit Eisenbach. So in this studio, we learn how to take a place and try to show what isn't really seen. And we're taught how to think abstractly. So for this studio, we focused on Wilmers Park. We were creating dreamscapes, really laying the foundation for PG County's collaboration with their planners and MNC PPC. What we're doing is just laying the groundwork for them to use our projects as an example for community outreach and to see how to move forward when developing Wilmers Park in the future. Our objectives were to really just preserve this culturally significant park that has since been abandoned and been bought by PG County's Parks and Rec Department. We did a lot of research on the site, on the history of the site, and also precedents that did similar work all throughout the country, and well, actually all throughout the world, to then further develop our ideas. These being 2 of the 5 ideas that we created in the studio, one being a walking trail and one being a more like structure that really shows the history and builds a new program. We worked on this for the later portion of our semester in a really quick amount of time, and we hope this really benefits PG County's Parks and Rec Department for the future development of Wilmers Park.
Hi, my name is Megan. This is Emma. We are Master of Community Planning students at the University of Maryland, and our PALS project really started in our qualitative research class this past semester, where we were focusing on the Anacostia River Trail system. So the title of our project is Exploring Public Access Along the Anacostia River Trail System, and the focus of this project was to really assess the trail system as a whole, the purpose that it served, the accessibility that it provided to the community, and kind of in what ways it gets utilized. So we were able to really focus on the trail system that runs through Montgomery County and PG County. So our sub-questions and our questions that we really focused our research on was how might the Anacostia River Trail system be made more accessible to the public? And we looked at things like physical barriers, social emotional barriers, political, financial, and kind of how could we alleviate these barriers to make the trail system more accessible and really just kind of provide future improvements or things that could be done differently to kind of, again, promote that accessibility. So before we really jumped into our research, we did a lot of pilot studies. So we visited the trail systems just to get an idea of what was there in our own perspective, to kind of analyze how people were using it, the condition of the trails. And we also utilized literature studies to better understand what a trail is, how it serves a purpose, how it promotes health and wellness and these kinds of different things, as we were trying to think of the trail system that ran through our community in College Park. So I will pass it off to Emma to go into the other methodology.
So as part of this study, we had a pretty dense methodology, I would say, and we had a few different components. So starting off with demographic and economic analysis. I was in that group personally, so I know a lot about it. And we're basically just trying to figure out who uses the trail. So who lives around the area? What are the racial and ethnic demographics? What is their commute like? Where do they work? Things like that. We also have archival analysis, which kind of discusses the overall history of the area and of the chunks of the trail itself. And that group made some great timelines, which we were able to see, and they were very understandable, and you can learn a lot about the historical context of the area. And then we also had methods for interviews and focus groups. So these focused on creating more awareness and safety and accessibility for the trail. And Megan was part of this group, so they went out and asked a bunch of survey questions to the people, and they were able to find out a lot of great information about, who's using the trail, why are they using it, what are they doing that day, what brings them out on this day, would they be using the trail if it was rainier, things like that. And so overall, this led to some conclusions for us, and that these trails are loved by many. However, it would be great if we could, increase the stretch of the trail a little bit, widening, because they serve a lot of different users. For instance, people who bike, people who scooter, people who walk, and we don't want them, running into each other. We also would want a improvement of amenities that we discovered. There's a lot of trash everywhere, and there isn't really a place to put the trash. So it would be great if we could have more trash cans like set up around the trail, as well as benches for those with disabilities or people who just want to take a little break while they're on their walk. I know that I do sometimes. Or an increased access to Wi-Fi, because what you'll find if you walk on these trails is that they're kind of hard to navigate, and if you don't have, Wi-Fi to go to Google Maps, then, well, how are you going to find your way home? So, yeah, overall, it was a great project, I think, to work on, and I think Meg and we learned a lot from it, and we're happy to share what we learned with all of you. So, who do we want to thank, Megan? Obviously, our professor, Alex Donahue. He did a great job of keeping us on track and breaking down what we had to do and teaching us all about qualitative research, because our class was specifically focused on this. And I think after I at least completed this class, I don't know about you personally, Megan, but I was able to gain a better grasp on what exactly qualitative research is.
Hi, my name is Yasi. I am a student of the University of Maryland, the Landscape Architecture Department. Our project was the Wilmus Park in Brandywine, Maryland. And we named our park actually Wilmus Euphony Park. Euphony Park means that it is pleasing to the Euphony Park means that it's pleasing to the ear. It is harmony, it brings peace and happiness. We wanted to commemorate the African American history and the memory of Wilmus Park throughout the times, because music was a large element of the historical side of Wilmus Park. So we completed the project. We have a master's plan. I'm going to bring it up. I'm bringing up the master's plan. This is our master plan, and it shows the location where everything is placed. We have a playground, which actually resembles a musical guitar. We have a winding pathway, which is the outdoor museum. We have parking spaces that are actually going to be moved in the future because of stormwater management. There's another space, it's the amphitheater. The second space, this is from Gabrielle. She is my classmate, and she completed the project for the playground. And that was as well to commemorate the African American history of music and incorporate children with color. Our theme is actually to have our theme is a whimsical theme to show pleasure, color, music, sound, the senses of smell and scent. There are many musical themes. There is the saxophone. The saxophone is incorporated as a slide. There are drums where children can play. There are also xylophones and other musical items where people, and young and old, can actually be interactive and play. And here is the outdoor museum. The outdoor museum is about narrating a story of entering a space that has emotions that are expressed by visual tools. This radial moon gate is actually a story of sound. It's the Doppler effect, how the sound echoes outside the space. And when you enter, you are going in reversal sound. So that is your gate to experience the feel of scent, and colors are important because colors matter in what language they speak. If the scent and the color and the rustling of the leaves, they will narrate your emotions. Sometimes we feel a certain way about feeling warm, cold, or happy or sad, and those plants are a component of that. Some of the components are chimes and musical sounds, and there is this tool called PlantWave. PlantWave is really an excellent tool. When you plug in an alligator clip and then you turn on the sound, each sound makes a different melody. So it's extremely important to think about that, and there are sound towers where it lights up. The design here has a purpose. This is the winding times, like the inside of a clockwork. That is the reason this has been built. The seating by itself is actually the plan view of the entire design. There are several components. For design purposes, I have not placed many plants and trees, but they play a huge role in being part of the design. Also, the surface is extremely important. The surface can be anything. It could be a rubberized gravel or a rubberized concrete, just like on a tennis place, because you want to feel how your feet feel underneath, texture, all the experiences. This is an outdoor museum, the Wilmus Euphony Park, and I am pleased to introduce our designs from the University of Maryland with our teacher that has won an award today, Dr. Byung-Suk Kwon. I am very proud to have taken the opportunity to be here at PALS today. I thank you very much for giving us the chance and the opportunity to showcase our designs. You are highly appreciated. Thank you.